Kyra recently turned 18. Her parents love traveling abroad, so she lives alone in a big house. Only literature keeps her from being bored. She has one dream, to be loved. And today, something new will happen in her life. She will meet a writer just like herself, her teacher Jonathan. He found inspiration in this remote town. Kyra arrives for class earlier than anyone else. This surprises Jonathan, and he asks where she lives. They tell each other about their lives. Jonathan is amazed that Kyra has read the entire curriculum. Kyra jokes in reply that she likes it rough. Then Winnie enters the classroom and pulls her friend aside to talk. While they're gone, Jonathan looks through Kyra's books. He's interrupted by Boris. Boris immediately realizes Jonathan is reading the girl's book because its plot is very vulgar. Guys wouldn't read that. Coincidentally, Kyra loves reading a book written by Jonathan. He lives with his wife, Beatrice, who is also a writer. He tells her that his student reads his book, and the duo starts dancing, but they are interrupted by a call from Emmy. A new day arrives. The teachers are relaxing, sitting on a bench sipping coffee. Boris wonders if there are ghosts in the forest. A second later, Kyra emerges from the woods and walks straight up to the teachers. Boris offers cookies, while Jonathan can't take his eyes off Kyra. A little later, Winnie tries to get Boris's attention. She outright says she's interested in their interaction. Kyra calls her obsessed. After classes, the friends get together. Kyra admits she's struggling to find a topic for her next book. Winnie suggests experiencing a moment that would help with writing the theme, like an intrigue with the teachers. The problem is, none of them have had serious relationships. Winnie wants her first date to be with Boris. Kyra should also realize that Mr. Jonathan looks at her in a special way. But Kyra denies it all. And for the rest of the day, she reads Jonathan's book, and during lessons, they can't take their eyes off each other. Jonathan asks her to come see him after class. One desire keeps spinning in Kyra's head, to have his full attention. A little later, Jonathan decides to dance a little, but he's distracted by Kyra. She promises not to tell anyone about his hobby. Jonathan suggests going to a poetry club, maybe something will surprise her there. He read her latest work and really liked it. Kyra burns with shame and explains what her piece was about. Jonathan wants her to write a story in the style of her favorite author. Kyra accepts the assignment, adding that she has read his entire book, and then repeats some phrases she liked the most. Jonathan doesn't even know what to say. Kyra breaks the awkward pause and apologizes. Suddenly Winnie walks into the office, and the duo ends the conversation. Today, the teachers and Beatrice visit a cafe where Winnie works. Boris teases the girl, and Beatrice asks about the beautiful girl who read his book. He replies that she is very smart and unique. Beatrice decides to state that Jonathan isn't a writer, he chose to be a teacher. Since that day, he hasn't written a new book. The next day, Kyra attends the writing club. She feels this day will be very significant for her. Jonathan is happy to see her. Then a guy comes on stage and reads his work. Jonathan listens attentively, while Kyra looks exclusively at Jonathan. The next day she brings coffee to the teachers. Boris shares his cookies. Kyra doesn't understand why Boris makes such delicious cookies but doesn't tell anyone. He could sell them. Winnie could make a logo. Today the girls stopped by Jonathan's. He tells them he's going on vacation with his wife. Winnie sees how cute the duo is interacting. When the teacher steps out, she suggests Kyra make the first move and seduce Jonathan. Their conversation is interrupted by Boris. He decided to sell cookies. Winnie quickly joins their team, she just needs his number. That day, Kyra called Jonathan. He promises to stop by her place before he leaves. Kyra reasons that when love is real, it's quiet and inevitable. A couple of hours later, Jonathan arrives at Kyra's. She comes out of the house dressed in a white dress. All Jonathan can do is stand and watch her walk towards him. Kyra stops and asks him to come to her. Jonathan still stands in place. Then Kyra takes the first step, followed by a kiss. When he returned home, messages from Kyra kept coming constantly. The notifications irritate Beatrice, forcing Jonathan to go out to the shed. There, he starts reading Kyra's new book. He gets carried away and imagines that the main characters are them. Unable to resist, he does something dirty. A new day dawns. Kyra notices Jonathan's strange behavior and asks what's wrong with him. Jonathan replies that she needs to choose a new author. She declares that he asked her to write a book about a theme she knows. Jonathan asks if she truly knows it. Kyra answers that it's about them. Seeing his confusion, Kyra says it's about two similar people denying social constraints. Jonathan still thinks the book is too adult. Kyra is sure he's just too scared. They are not strangers now. Jonathan tries to explain that she is his student, and he is the teacher. Kyra still wants him to admit that the work is good, it's just that Jonathan doesn't want to admit it. She calls Jonathan excessive but lacking ambition. He could be so much better, but now he's irresponsible. Before leaving, she leaves her story in the administration mailbox. That evening, the friends meet. Winnie asks if she likes Jonathan. Kyra calls him a knockoff sushi sauce, but she loves him anyway. Meanwhile, Beatrice finds out what his student wrote. But he won't admit who the story was about. Beatrice manages to persuade him and learns about the piece. Kyra suggests Winnie text Boris, she does so. He came over to Jonathan's family place. Beatrice notices Boris texting someone, but he won't say who it is. And the conversation starts shifting to another topic, so Boris puts his phone away. Jonathan got a call from the administration accusing him of inappropriate relations with Kyra, but he denies everything. He realizes that if she can prove they had something, he could lose his job. Beatrice adds that it's not just the job and demands he tell the truth. Jonathan swears nothing happened. The next day, Kyra skips classes. Winnie looks very upset, she tries to make Jonathan feel guilty, but he looks completely cold. Later, Kyra comes to the principal and describes their adventures. Jonathan has to defend himself. He's lucky their stories match. To the final question, Kyra answers that nothing happened that she didn't like. Obviously, Jonathan doesn't know what she answered, and this question embarrassed him greatly. During the break, Boris realizes Jonathan is in love with his student. He's unlucky because he doesn't see the line that shouldn't be crossed. That's why he got into such a mess. When he returned home, Beatrice had her own questions. Beatrice doesn't believe his lies. Jonathan couldn't deny that a spark flew between him and Kyra. This was the last straw. Beatrice is going to file for divorce. Winnie comes to Kyra and asks her not to harm Jonathan, it will ruin his life, just for revenge because he rejected her. Winnie will stand up for Jonathan and say that Kyra is lying. Kyra quickly replies that Winnie can't do that. She has dirt on her and Boris. When Kyra finishes writing her book about her and Jonathan, the movie ends. Well, this was the Relrush channel. Write in the comments how you rate this movie, or just recommend something interesting. See you very soon, bye.